This video essay will examine policies and academic works to investigate how children's online privacy is being protected under current regulatory laws. Studying the case of the application of the Children's Online Protection Act, also known as COPPA Rule, on YouTube, we will try to understand some of the challenges of regulating online environments. It has been estimated that 1 child in 3 is an internet user, and most of them have their own devices. Thus, millions of children around the world have access to a realm of entertainment and information that allows them to learn in new and engaging ways, opens up endless opportunities for participation, and increases the range of skills they develop. However, the digital world is also filled with unique risks like access to inadequate content, cyberbullying, excessive use, consumerism, exploitation, and so on. Among these risks, online privacy and data collection represent one of the parents' top concerns. According to a study conducted by the Pew Research Center in 2012, 81% of parents of online teens say they are concerned about how much information advertisers can learn about their child's online behavior. And there's a good reason for this apprehension. Collecting personal data is now critical for businesses. Children are important targets as they can influence their friends' and families' buying decisions and can also be significant consumers themselves now and in the future. A study of children's applications showed that more than 50% of the apps targeted at children under 13 appear to be failing to protect their data. It may be a problem as the children's digital world can be transformed in a marketing machine, which will not only watch and record what they are doing, but also manipulate the online environment where they are navigating. Children are particularly vulnerable to behavioral advertisements, and at the same time, they may be less aware of the importance of safeguarding personal information. The United States recognized the risks that privacy violations may cause to children and created the COPPA Rule to regulate how websites and mobile applications collect data from children under 13 years old. The rule is enforced by the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, and requires verified parental consent before the collection of any personal information from children. When COPPA Rule was created in 1998, personal information was defined as identifiable data about an individual collected online, such as a first and last name, a physical address, an email address, a telephone number, a social security number, or any other data that permitted the physical or online contacting of a specific individual. In 2012, the FTC revised the COPPA Rule and amended the personal information definition to include also geolocation information, a screen or username that functions as an online contact information, a photograph, video, or audio file that contains a child's image or voice, and persistent identifiers that can be used to recognize a user over time and across different websites or online services. COPPA offers guidelines for websites targeting children to ensure parental consent. However, an ambiguity exists for websites that target general audiences, which are not specifically designed for children but may still be accessed by them. YouTube is currently one of the most prominent examples of such circumstances. YouTube is a video sharing website and application consisted of user-generated content, which has about 2 billion monthly active users. The platform is formally restricted to people 13 and older. But its popularity with younger children is knowingly growing. Watching online videos has become so popular among children that it is now the media activity they enjoy the most. Children age 8 and under used to spend an average of 4 minutes a day watching online videos in 2011, but the time spent in that activity has gone up to 25 minutes in 2017. Meanwhile, the amount of time older children spend watching online videos has gone from about 24 minutes a day in 2015 to 56 minutes a day in 2019. And YouTube is the most used site for children and teens to view video content. To comply with COPPA, in February 2015, Google launched the YouTube Kids app, a filtered version of YouTube that offers more parental control, reduced data collection, and no target ads. Despite that, in 2018, a coalition of consumer advocacy groups complained that YouTube knew that children under 13 were accessing the general site instead of using YouTube Kids. In September 2019, the FTC claimed that YouTube illegally collected personal information from children without their parents' consent. To settle the allegations, Google and YouTube were required to pay a $107 million fine, and to implement a system to allow channel owners to identify if their content is child-directed. Since then, YouTube has completely restructured its system and announced that, starting 2020, creators would be responsible for indicating if their videos are children-directed or not. Indicating the content as made for kids would cause several restrictions both on the video and on the channel levels. The most impactful of these changes is the fact that behavioral advertising would then be prohibited on kids' content, sharply reducing such videos' revenue. The FTC declared that COPPA Rule applies to YouTube channel owners in the same way it would if they had a website or app, and therefore they might face civil penalties of up to $42,000 per violation. The directive provided by the FTC, however, lacked clarity about what should be considered as made for kids. And YouTube informed that failing to set the audience accurately could cause compliance issues and that they could not provide legal advice. Even with this being the case, YouTube went forward and put in place an automated system to identify kids' content and override a creator designation if abuse or error is detected. The event caused a big commotion in the YouTube community and became a subject of lively discussion amongst user and channel owners. Many creators published videos questioning, explaining, criticizing, or sharing their concerns about the topic. The YouTube creator Jeremy Johnston also created an online petition called Save Family-Friendly Content on YouTube, which gathered almost 1 million signatures. Alongside, the FTC conducted a workshop on the future of the COPPA Rule and requested public comment on its implementation. The open forum received massive public participation, with submissions totalizing more than 175,000 comments from YouTube creators, YouTube users, children's rights advocates, parents, kids, and others. It's clear that COPPA enforcement on YouTube heated the debate about the topic, and the opinions diverge about various aspects of the issue. First, there are discussions about the parents' responsibility for moderating children's access to content online. Most regulatory approaches to protecting child privacy online have been based on principles of parental consent, requesting verifiable permission for data collection. This sort of approach is not without criticism. Before the changes on the YouTube system, children would often watch YouTube using their parents' accounts or using accounts their parents set up for them. If the parents had accepted the terms and conditions of YouTube when they created the account, and still decided to allow their children to use YouTube's main app or website, wouldn't that be a form of consent? Also, if the COPPA Rule intends to empower parents to decide what's best for the children, isn't that enforcement assuming that parents are not capable of doing so? Another line of thought is that real families may lack the time or digital literacy to moderate online access. Furthermore, many families share devices or have secrets or conflicts with each other. Some authors support the view that children have the right to privacy from their parents as well, and asking for consent would harm that right, reducing their autonomy and freedom online, limiting access to information, and interfering on the development of their digital literacy. The need for parental consent may also contradict some recent evidence showing that children have awareness of privacy threats and share some of the same concerns about identity theft and data mining as adults. Thus, some scholars point out that there are better ways than requiring parental consent to protect children's right to privacy, while also safeguarding their other rights. These include education initiatives and changing default privacy settings. Studies show that empowering children to set limits for their own online interactions is a key factor for protecting privacy, especially for those on YouTube. Some other advocates defend that a higher burden of responsibility needs to be placed on online service providers. Policies should also include transparency in methods of data collection and clear explanations of how the data would be used, which should also be adapted to children's understanding. However, some creators fear that the way COPPA Rule is being applied to YouTube will harm its children's content ecology. The changes in the advertisement system mean that the ability of children's content creators to generate revenue will significantly decrease. As a consequence, creators entering the platform now and in the future may be discouraged to create kids' content. And even the existing creators may switch their content strategies toward an older audience, resulting in less diversity and quality for the children's content available on the platform. An example of how excessive regulation may negatively affect the entertainment industry occurred in Brazil. In 2014, legal norms forbidding advertisements in children's content caused a gradual decline in the children's program on free-to-air TV. The Brazilian government recently opened up a public consultation to review the law and try to recover the children's entertainment industry, making free access to culture available again. Thus, although the COPPA Rule implementation might be positive in the sense of protecting children's online privacy, it may also potentially reduce the opportunities enabled to them by the internet in the future. YouTube is much more than a place to go and see viral videos. It allows the development of skills that are crucial for participating fully as networked citizens and self-actualized individuals. In conclusion, there are pros and cons of the application of COPPA Rule on YouTube. The law is currently under review, and the regulatory approach needs to aim a balance between protecting children's online privacy and preserving the platform's sustainability, to guarantee a universal access to diverse, safe, and high-quality digital resources to all the children.